wrapped around your soul with no control. You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I'll run, I'll hide. Darkness always clouds my mind. When I look behind, it's moving closer every time. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. 'Cause darkness, my old friend, you get me in at the end. At the end. Can you feel it wrapped around your soul with no control? You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. 'Cause darkness, my old friend, you get me in the
You guys couldn't hear me. What's going on, folks? What's going on, folks? Will Stewart here with another lunchtime show. It's my lunch break, so I figured I'd come out and spend it with you guys. How we doing today? How we doing today with the Q&A show? Everybody's talking about what manager will be next. Who are we going to bring in? What's going on with that? We've got several people in the house today. Mr. K was in here earlier, a couple hours ago. says, yes, his favorite show of the week. Come on, you Spurs. Harris Armick, Enoch out. We've also got Caleb Nuseb saying, come on, lads, let's get Will to 500 subs. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. That would be great. AK Gaming in the house saying, come on, you Spurs. We've got Eugene in the house saying, good afternoon, Will. Yo, Will. Dan from England. Matt Hayes thinks Eric Ten Hag from Ajax has held talks with Levy. Yeah, Dan, I've seen a lot of the news over the last couple of days. There's been a lot of videos out about who's going to replace Ryan Mason as the current deal. It doesn't matter who comes in. I agree with you, and I've got a Cody Mac level conspiracy that I want to talk about a little bit. Eric Ten Hag is the best for the rebuild. I agree. I think he'd probably be the best choice. I think he would be probably one of the best choices. Lily White Lane, what's going on, Robbie? In the house. Thank you very much. He says he loves the stream. Early stream. Woo woo. Yeah, man. I'm trying to do a little bit more on both sides of the time period just to let, the UK fans be honest with you. Surprisingly or not, that I think it's like 38%. 38% of my subscribers are from the UK, so I appreciate that, guys. That's why I gotta give you some content so you don't have to stay up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And he says, Will, if you could compare an NFL team to Tottenham, who would that be? I'm not 100% sure, my man. I don't watch a whole lot of the NFL. Comparing an NFL team to Tottenham. Dallas Cowboys, maybe? Right? That's like a historically big club who can't seem to win anything over the last 20 years. That might piss off a lot of Cowboys fans, but I think that's a pretty good shout, to be honest with you. My eyes look a little red. Eyes look a little red. We got it's pollen time here in North Carolina. Mr. K is back. Hello. Saying hi to everyone in the chat. Joe Lombardi. Hey, Will, early show, so I don't have to stay up till 3 a.m. Thanks. Yes, that's exactly the point of these shows. Is to have a little bit of an earlier show so people don't have to stay up until 3 a.m. 3 a.m. Yeah. Sure. We got Sean Moran's in the house. Welcome, Sean. Who have you got for the new manager? Will Graystream. Will, come on, you Spurs. I've got some different choices. I think Nuno is a good shout. I know a lot of people don't like him. I think I mentioned this on the Paxton Road show a couple days ago that I felt like that it would be more to the tune of, if Pochettino and Mourinho had a baby. I like to use that an analogy a lot. If you guys haven't gathered that yet by now, I like to say, if so-and-so and so-and-so had a baby, what would it be like? What would it be like? I think Nuno's Espirito Santo is good. I'm a closet fan of Wolves at times. They're kind of like my third or fourth team that I'll be willing to watch. And I think he's done a good job there. I think he's done a good job there with, I think he's taken mid-table players, especially last season. And this season, obviously, there's a lot more injuries. I think he's taken some mid-table players and and made them, qualify in the European spots, which is about where we can get to next season, I believe. I guess young Marcelo is still working, Will. Yeah, Marcelo, he comes on the channel now and again, usually more towards the late nights side of things. But yeah. He says, no, I'd rather have Glacier from Lille. He's developed the youngsters at Lille to get them where they are right now. He's the one for the rebuild. To be honest with you, I don't watch League A very much, so I couldn't really comment too much on that. If you notice, my microphone is swollen. I got a better pop filter there so that I can get nice and close and not get so many pops and peas and stuff like that. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. NFL draft is coming up soon. I don't watch NFL except for the postseason, so I couldn't tell you the last time I watched a draft. 49ers, possibly. I think Dallas Cowboys is probably a better shot than the Niners for who Spurs are, but colors wise too matches up a little better. Eunice saying hello to Mr. K. Let me pop these comments in the thread here. Put them up on screen so everybody can see that stuff. Throw this over there. Pop these out. Share screen. Share Chrome tab. Boom. Then you have to look at my face so much either. There we go. That looks good. Yeah, so, well, who else we've got? Comments. Levy as manager and Hishin as the assistant. I think that's already how it is. I think that is already how it is. Will, Hidnik was a great manager for South Korea, wasn't he? Yeah, but I don't think he'd be right at Spurs, to be honest with you. I'm not a huge fan. Oh God, please, no, Nuno. I haven't heard a good case against Nuno. I think people think he's pragmatic, but he's not. If you look at the way that he played with Wolves in their first season in the Premier League, they were battering teams at the bottom half of the table. I could pull up some stats later if you wanted me to. I'd have Sniffleupagus from Sesame Street as a new manager unless Levy sacked him from the show. No, I agree with you, man, 100%. Just in conspiracy theory, let's go, and conspiracy go hand in hand. Man, I'm really behind in comments here. Hello, I think the Bears might be a good fit. Traditionally successful team in the past, close recently, but held back by bad moves by the team ownership, pissing off the fans. But for doing, doesn't that fit the Cowboys though too, Scott? Right? Maybe not. Bears would be a good shout. Cody Mac's in the house. Do you think we have enough to build around for cheap, or should we be going for a full rebuild? Got to go for a full one, I think. I think Son and Kane got to get them now before they're worth nothing. Alejandro Perez saying, what do you think about the Leo manager? Yeah, like I said, Alejandro, I haven't checked him out yet. I know that I said that I would the last time that I did a stream, but I've been a little bit busy. I've been busy doing some stuff. I've been busy doing the channel, kind of squaring the channel away. To be honest with you, when I first started this channel, I wasn't 100% sure that the A1, it was going to be anywhere near successful, and B2, that it was something that I was going to have time to do. But it turned out that I do have time. And it turns out that you guys actually like it. Well, at least you're pretending that you like it for now. So when I threw it together, I kind of threw it together really quick. You know, didn't, I guess you could say, do it right. And so I've been spending a lot of time kind of doing it right. You know, making sure that there's no, you know, trademarks in the title and in the artwork and stuff like that. Because if I decide to monetize some of this stuff, I don't want to get sued. So yeah, when you're a small channel, you can get away with it. But as you grow, if you become a big channel, you know, say this gets 10,000 plus at some point, which I hope that it does. I think it's a far stretch, but I could be wrong. There's definitely enough Spurs fans in the U.S. to and obviously across the world to get this channel to 10K plus. But that really depends on if you guys like the content or not. Speaking of content and stuff that you want to see, let's see. Let's take that off for a second. We're going to share a different screen here. Yeah. This, you guys don't know, you can, this is THFCRants.com. I threw this together like the last couple of days. We got a bunch of different stuff here. We've got shirts. This is right now one of our best-selling items here is the Bald and Bearded Boys or Tottenham Boys show that I do with Cody Mac right now once a week. Hopefully that can pick up more than that at some point in time. You guys seem to really enjoy that show. As well as we've got some Enoch Out stuff. I pulled all the profit out of the Enoch Out. I didn't think that it was, I guess you could say, ethical to make money on the Enoch Out stuff. So if you notice, like, you know, this one has $8 on that one, right? So the $8 is my profit on that Man Smell shirt. This is purely, all the Enoch stuff is completely at cost to me. The lowest possible price. So even down here, when you get to this stuff too, it's all been reduced in price to the lowest absolute. I'm not even making 50 cents on the Enoch Out stuff. That's simply there for you guys to show your support to help and try and get Enoch out. Yeah, so when you get a chance, check that out. Stuff like that. Also, too, if you guys didn't know, I also have a Patreon page now. And I have my first Patreon. So this is something in one of the levels. We have a $5 level and a $10 level. And if you get the $10 level, you get a link to one of my midweek early Q&A shows like this. And you'll be the first one to get a link to jump on and ask me a question or ask a couple questions or ask the audience a question and answer a question. We'll bring people on and we'll do that. Because I am a part of the Harris Army, I didn't want to start my own army. So I call it myself Williams Rangers. So we are a special forces unit inside the Harris Army. Fighting the battle here in North America. That's why I'm calling us Williams Rangers. And so these are the guys that are a part of the Patreon. Spartan 7 Gaming was the first one. He has signed up. And you can find that at patreon.com/THFCRants. Enough self-promotion for now. We'll get back to the folks that actually matter. And that's you guys. So we'll pull the comments back up. Ching. Okay. get back to the comments. Back to the comments. There you go, Mr. K. Hashtag Williams Rangers. And Bob Spurs says he's got his group too, and he started his up and he's calling them Bob Spurs boobies. That's great. Will, you look like Harry Kane in that shirt. Is Harry Kane bald and bearded? Thank you, though. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% convinced that Harry Kane is a handsome fellow. I think there's certain situations when he could, you know, look a little handsome, stuff like that. But, yeah. Let's see. Eric Tenhag, 8-11 with the bookies now in the UK. I got on last week at 6-1, so fingers crossed. Yeah, hopefully you're not a kid. But no, I'm teasing. Let's turn that over to the side a little bit better so you can see my mouth. Paul Brown, don't worry. Dele's new hairstyle will invigorate him and the team. Wishful thinking, much like Aubameyang's did. Yeah, I'm not 100%. 안녕하세요. Tony Gonim. I like your last name and your first name, but I think you should romanize it G-O. Tony. And then you're just like Tony Go. That's a pimp name right there. I'm telling you right now in English. Tony Go. Because, I mean, that's what it sounds like in Korean. But American folks, they'll mess it up. If it was my choice, I would go for Allegri. He would do a good job at Tottenham. He has won trophies at other clubs. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Not a bad shot, though. He says, no, it's my company. I'm 49. Well, cool. I'm guessing so you sell like allergy stuff for kids, like supplements or something like that. Or yeah. So if your kids have allergies, go check out Allergy Kids. You can thank me for their marketing dollars later. That's okay. I like to support my supporters. We got the Kipax Gamer, City, City, City. Is that like a song? Like City, 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 City. Anyone fancy Wayne Rooney? No, I don't want Wayne Rooney. Everyone smash the like button. Yes, please do smash the like button. Do as Cody Mac says. Smash that like button. Smash it. Smash it now. Okay, so let me get into my Cody Mac my Cody Mac level conspiracy theory here. Has anyone else noticed that the club has been putting out little press bits here and there about Spurs with this manager and Spurs with that manager and Spurs with this manager? Why do you think they're doing that? And I don't want to blame it because, you know, that's a hot topic, right? I don't want to blame the guys out here in the YouTube family. I'm not doing that. So if you're one of those guys and you're hearing me say what I'm about to say, don't take that as a stab or a shot at. But I think that Levy is doing it to distract away from the Enoch out movement. Because a lot of the conversation has been kind of splintered, I guess you could say, right? Because it's too much good information for you, for us as creators, content creators, looking for content to create, to not cover a manager situation. And it kind of pulls out from the overarching Enoch out movement. In my opinion, it's also a distraction from the cup loss. It's a distraction from all of these things, right? It's like boom. It's like the I guess you could say what's that word I'm looking for? Somebody help me out. The propaganda machine is in full swing, right? The propaganda machine is in full swing. But, it's not something that we can't. What happens if I minimize that? Oh, sweet. It didn't go away. That's brilliant. Yeah, it's totally got to be that. In my mind. Controlling the narrative. Exactly right. Propaganda 101. Diversion 101. Controlling that narrative. Controlling that narrative. Controlling that narrative. That's what it is. It's definitely controlling that narrative. Public relations illusion. Yeah. Anyway, I just want to thank you guys for jumping on with me. There's quite a few people watching the stream, even though the big boys are rolling. It's just good. I appreciate the support, folks. I really do. Yeah. I didn't realize they were going to go live today during this time. It's okay. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to moi. But there is a link for the other creators in the crowd. There is a link in the family chat. If you guys want to jump on here for a few minutes, I'll probably be going live for probably about another hour. If you're in the audience, and you want to ask me, no, you're totally welcome. Totally welcome. If you're in the audience and you want to ask questions, go ahead and do that, because this is your guys' time. This is my time to ask questions for you all. How far would Levy go to control the narrative? Would he spend money? I think so many people would be shocked by that. It might actually work. I think you have to spend money, as that, right? You gotta drop some cash to stay creative. We got a friend on who hasn't. I think it's the first time we've seen his face on the show because of the timing. Maybe not. Bobby, what's going on, my man?
Well, good. How are you? I did make one show in City O'Clock.
Oh, that's right.
A while back. Yeah. It was
a little bit.
Yeah, I think I was half drunk, mate. So I can't remember much of it, but I made an impression from the feedback. So hey ho, how are you? I didn't expect you to come on this time.
Yeah, I just kind of started doing this lunchtime thing now, where I'm on my lunch break. This is about the same time that we do the bald and bearded, or the bald and bearded Tottenham. There's too many B's and T's. I can't remember the name of my own show.
You're getting some good feedback for that show, mate. It's going great.
Yeah, it's going pretty good, that show. I mean, it's easy with Cody Mac. He's the real star in that show. I just snatched him up for it.
Things don't seem to get hairy as well, which is always good.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's good. Yeah, Mason in for me, mate. Ryan Mason in.
Ryan Mason in for you. I'm gonna take that as banter, because
no,
I totally don't want him. I totally don't want Ryan.
The reason why I want him in is there is absolutely no point of getting anyone in till the board sort themselves out. What we need is the board to get their act together. What we need is a plan of action from the board. them to communicate it to the fans so we know what their plans is, and then we can expect a manager to come in and fit into that model, into that working plan. Right now, I mean, I woke up yesterday, Will, and throughout yesterday, we were associated with 5 different managers throughout the day. Trapattoni, which was obviously a bullshit, but it was there. Rijkaard, Brendan Rodgers, a Salzburg manager who I didn't even know we were associated with, but he distanced himself from Spurs, and then Ten Hag. Not even 24 hours, we were associated with 5 managers, and I was embarrassed. I'm like, what's going on here? It just shows what lack of direction there is in the board. So
Cody says you're his official stunt double. By the way, you're his body double. You're his body double.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So for me, don't get anyone in. Keep Mason in till the board get themselves sorted, and then get someone else in. And if that means mid-table mediocrity, then so be it. There's absolutely no reason, Will, to get anyone in, mate, because we're pissed all over Jose. And regardless of his performance, you know what my thoughts are on Jose. But the board didn't help him. You could get the best manager in. I mean, Ten Hag, people are all excited about getting him in. No. Because what's to say they're not going to do to him what they've done with the last 20-odd managers? The board needs to get themselves sorted first.
And what do you think about my statement just a few seconds ago before you jumped on here? Do you think that all of this news about being connected with this, that, and the other thing is Levy's attempt to shift conversation away from Enoch and the board and on to potential managers? And do you think that us as creators have kind of latched on to all that news?
It's human nature, isn't it? Yeah, it's human nature, mate. We're quite clearly looking for a manager in the summer, and if a good name is linked to us, obviously it's going to be chat about it. It's going to be talk about it. But I started a stream that about, I think it was about 1 o'clock in the morning UK time. No, about midnight, half past midnight. Just to go on and say, look, I don't agree with any manager coming right now. And I went on for about 2.5 hours, and because people were saying they understand. I just don't see the reason of bringing in a manager right now, and I just think it'd be so unfair on him or her, of course, coming in and working, because the board have no clue. And like I say, all very well having an identity on the pitch. And someone mentioned in your comments earlier, the first point of a rebuild is identity on the pitch. Couldn't disagree more. I couldn't disagree more. And you know me, I always have respect for people's opinions, but I can't agree with that. Whereas us, we need identity in the board. People will say we already have an identity, but we'll bring someone in and we spend fuck all, and they don't have to deal with what we got. But we need clarification as fans. We need to know. We can get excited about Ten Hag, but if he's brought in and there's going to be nothing offered to him, then I don't want him there. I don't want if it suddenly Klopp or Pep became available. I don't want them in. I don't want them in whatsoever until the board know, because whoever comes in right now is just set up for a disappointment, and certainly us as fans, it's just not fair. Get the board in check, get an identity within the board, get a plan in place, communicate it to the fans, and then get a manager in, because it's just Operation Vindaloo.
What is this? I started to watch. I was at training when you went on again for your second live show.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And I started to watch it after dinner when I got home. But I've been this weird pattern now since I've started doing this show.
Yeah.
That I end up falling asleep at like 8 or 9, and then waking up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Hence, you see me out on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then taking like a nap between 11 and being back up again. So, yeah. So it's just been a weird kind of situation for sleeping. So I fell asleep watching your show. Not that it put me to sleep, but that's just the way that's why I had to preface that. So what is this Operation Vindaloo?
Mate. I don't know. You say it's lunch break. Are people going to be eating?
Well, I mean, it is lunchtime. Well, it's over now. It's 1:05 p.m.
Okay,
so lunchtime's over now for most people, unless you're like in the central or west coast.
Yeah.
Then it's just
I asked the question yesterday to Danny, Brian Island, and who else? Cody. Yeah, Cody. Basically asked what would Cody was in the chat. I can't remember. I did 2 shows yesterday. But yeah, 3 steps. What would you do if you were in the board? What was the first 3 steps you change? And Danny Kiriakou came out with shit on Danny Levy, take away all cleaning essentials from him, and throw him in the boot. There was his top 3 things that he'd do. We did wonder why he'd actually shit on him first, then chuck him in the boot. Why not actually chuck him in the boot first and then poo on him? And that just led into a 10-minute conversation. Brian Daigle came out with, you know what, let me know when you do that car thing, because I'll have a Vindaloo and I'll make sure I'll do the smelliest, greenest poo ever and do a shit on him, and we'll marinate him. There was talk of marination, talk of keeping him in the boot for ages, and yeah,
that's pretty gross.
Yeah. So it was, there was, considering we were talking about deaths in Qatar, why we went on to marinating Daniel Levy in a Vindaloo poo by Brian Daigle, and why Danny would be comfortable manhandling a poo covered Levy. It was, like I say, it was a bit left field, but Cody,
it wouldn't be your channel if it didn't divulge down that way. It's like we can only take the seriousness on Bob's channel for so long, right? So we had the Qatar show, and then the after show has to travel down the line that it is natural.
It has to, mate. Yeah, it has to. Yeah.
I completely understand.
What's your genre? What's your shows? Well, if you had to put your show in a genre, what would it go under, or style, or mood? Yeah, what kind of mood do you have to be to see a Will show? But I suppose it's Will show rants completely different to you're doing at the moment.
So the rant show, so this show normally is kind of like a Q&A show, and it's the ability to get on some guests like yourself that are over on that side of the world that way I'm not forcing people to stay up to 4 o'clock in the morning every day. And then 2, because believe it or not, like 38% of my viewership, which is the largest single number, is coming from the UK. So a lot of UK support, which I'm super happy about. And then the United States is like 29%, and then the remaining percentages are from like all over the world. So
you'd probably say your face probably recognizable from We Are Tottenham, because you're on there quite a bit, weren't you? And on Dave's show quite a bit as well. So that probably explains the familiarity within the UK of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm definitely sure that's where that comes from, is going on the boy show. I used to be on it more, probably about a year ago, when they first started doing these call-in shows. Then with the COVID stuff like that, there was a time when they started doing things a bit earlier in the day, around 10 a.m. my time. For me, I'm too busy with actual work to be able to jump on and do that. The mornings are usually my busiest parts of the day. So for me, once I've gotten all the orders filled and out and emails sent and conference calls out the way, then I have time to jump on here.
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you a serious question now. We're not going to mention any names, because personally they're not worth it. But have you found within the last 2 weeks, maybe it's just my imagination, that there has been an increase in trolls within the stream, or is that just me? Maybe I'm just not. I
think for me, it was probably right before the ESL situation happened, and then during that, especially that one day. And I think just simply for the fact of the number of people that were out on platforms like YouTube watching content, and that, you know, if that's in your title, people are watching to see what you say about it, right?
Well,
Even if they don't know you.
You did a 4-hour stream with me, mate, and to be fair, if it wasn't for you, there was no way that was going to become a 4-hour show, purely and simply because you had so much knowledge of the American franchise, and I noticed it, you know, on you. There were certain people who were calling you out. Me personally, I've noticed it. I've noticed a lot of duplicates, what they're called, clones, coming about as well. But I'm like yourself. I like reading comments as well on other people's streams. And certainly with yourself being, you know, during the rants, you can get a bit heated. So I love reading the comments, and I do find, I don't know if it's anyone else. I'd be interested to speak to David and Matt and everyone and Josh to see what they're. But yeah, you're saying, so you have found there's a slight increase. Is it solely because of that, the knowledge that you shared, rather than you know?
Yeah, so a lot of people took, especially during that period, a lot of people took what I was saying as my personal opinion. Yeah. But it was more arguing from what is the franchise system, how does it involve, and how do people act in it, right? So I was trying to explain how people act in that system. Not that I was for it at all. And regardless of how many times I said during a stream, disclaimer, I'm not saying this is a good idea, or I'm not for this personally, right? I think it's a horrible idea, right? The fact that it ruins, not only do I not like it for the game of football itself, for selfish reasons, as a father of a boy who's really trying really hard to become a professional footballer one day, it limits his chances because it takes 5 top leagues and shoves them all into one, right? Cool, so now now the elite of the elite is an even smaller percentage than it already is right now. You know, so there are many reasons why I was against that system. But there's a lot of people that like to troll and do that stuff. I have found, though, that lately, and I would say in probably the last week and a half, it's actually started to go down for me, because I tend to usually toy with them a little bit, call them out, make them look like a fool, sometimes to my detriment. I think that sometimes the people in the comments, I guess you could say less assertive watchers, who it's just easier for them to just hit the block button, kind of cringe a little bit when I start going after people in the comments. But I think that it's for a purpose. And I think that once it depends on the level of the troll. There are some super trolls that just love the attention, and coming in after them will actually just spur them on even more. Now, I have been blocking people after a certain period of time. I like to play with them, toy with them, get them riled up, let them go fire off in the comments, and then boom, hit the block button on them, you know, mid heat. And that kind of makes them mad.
It was, what was I going to say? It's, I suppose with I've got a third of the numbers you've got at the moment, mate, and I suppose a rising number will obviously increase the likelihood of trolls. And I see Mr. K in the comments. He's, I think, 99% of the time is normally with you, and I know he's actually called out yesterday. We had a certain gentleman on my stream, and Mr. K was there, and he did ask, you know, big up Mr. K. He asked, why were you the way you were? And I think you know who I'm on about. Why were you the way you were on Will's channel, dude? Because, and this gentleman in question is a bit up and down with regards to his comments, and once I found out what he'd said to you, it was a bit out of the blue. I could speak for myself. I've never had an issue with it, so I don't know where it came from or why it came from. But big up Mr. K. He did ask the question. I didn't show it on screen because I didn't want to. It would have become a bigger conversation. I tried to look today for the comments, but for some reason I can't find the live comments on that stream, so I need to do some research.
Sometimes you have to wait. You have to wait until it gets completely processed through YouTube before they pop up.
Fair enough. And rest assured, when it is, I'll take screenshots like I normally do and send them over. But yeah, Mr. K was asking the question, and he replied,
good on you, Mr. K. You have to, Mr. K. You have to tell me in the WhatsApp group what he said.
Yeah, so. Definitely. definitely. And yeah, and the guy just said.
I'm curious too, because it's like I tend to not. I don't have any. I don't have an ill will in my body, and I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't have any problems with anybody in my chat, unless they're misbehaving, right? Unless they're misbehaving.
Yeah, of course.
And then we gotta, and then I have to handle it because it's my show, and the people that if I'm not creating, and I don't like to use woke terms, but sometimes I get forced to. If I'm not creating a safe environment for people in my comments to come, then they'll leave themselves, right? One troll who's throwing out hate speech left and right could end up causing, 10 to 15 people to leave my stream, and it's not worth that for me to put up with one dude's silliness. But
should I ask you this question? Well, yeah, let me ask you. How well is the Facebook, and are you on Twitch? Are you going to the Twitch way?
Yep, I'm streaming on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube right now. And
how's that side going, mate? Is it
Facebook is probably a little bit more for my real job.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see here's Fenn. Boom, on Twitch. He says he's on Twitch. He's watching on Twitch right now. The Facebook I know a lot more. So Twitch, I only know from Twitch for my kids. I have a 13-year-old son who likes to play games, and he's had a Twitch account for a while. Twitch and Discord. I think some people on Discord. I'm a little bit older. I'm a Zennial, so I was born in 1980. I'm 40 years old.
Okay.
So for me, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm back. I go back to the days of AOL CDs and bulletin board systems. That's how we rolled when I was 14 and 15 years old. Who jumped in here?
Yeah.
Got the bun on here now.
There he is.
What's going on? There he goes.
Yes, Danny. Yes, Operation Vindaloo. Near us. Yo.
We can see you.
Near us.
He can't hear us apparently. You got to maybe change your speaker settings over in the cam mic settings. Then you should be fine.
Yeah. Or maybe
that's that Bluetooth. That's that you gotta get cabled. Let's just banter him while he can't hear us.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
There we go.
Yes, I had the pleasure of describing what Operation Vindaloo was, mate.
Me and Brian are going to mastermind the Operation Vindaloo, or Operation Dump is what we like to call it.
Ten Hag has said, all right. I thought Ten Hag has been appointed.
I don't think he has.
No, not yet, mate.
Still ways.
Yeah, I don't think anything's going to be announced until the end of the day. It's like looking in the mirror.
How is everyone today?
It's my partner in crime.
That's it. Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. Cheers.
Yeah.
See you, Bob.
Yeah, cheers, mate. See
No, it's just
no. I'm joking.
How is everyone today? How's everyone doing?
Good. We're just trying to work out, why you'd be happy handling a shit-covered Daniel Levy. And
it'd be great pleasure to see that.
But you asked me a couple questions earlier too about what. Let me get that thing out of. Danny, hug that subscribe bar right in your face right now, and then I'll get it out of your face so people know that they can subscribe. I don't. Anybody look to see? I tend to not look during a stream where I'm sitting, but I was only like 484, I think, before the stream, but I'm not sure what we're on now. To be honest with you.
Like last time when me and Danny actually appeared between two bald heads when we came on.
Yeah.
You kissed the heads, didn't you?
Yeah,
still on 484. So
44.
Like, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button so I can get it out of Danny's face. And then
there we go. No, put it back. Does
it look better? But you kind of asked me what is my show and what what's my genre?
Genre, mood, what mood you have to be.
What mood is my show? I like to think of myself. So this show would be like the bald and bearded boys show. The bald and bearded Tottenham boys show. Like I said, it's TBB, TB, TB, TBDB, DB, DB, TBDB, DB. When I was a little kid, I used to do that all the time. TBDB, DB, DB. The bald and bearded Tottenham boys show. And this show here is kind of like daytime TV. So if you're in the United States, it would be maybe like the Ellen DeGeneres show.
The bald and the beardful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Not so much a soap opera, but more of like daytime talk show. And then the late night ranting show is for me it would be like Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien, yeah. I know, who was that talk show host? The Jewish guy. Oh, in America.
Jon Stewart?
No. Old. Oh man. Black and white. Not black and white. He had Big Tash. Oh mate, from the 80s. I'll have to find out. I know it's going to bug me now.
Yeah, I was like 5 in the 80s, so you probably wasn't watching late night TV then, Bob.
Springfield.
Oh, you're probably about the same age as my brother. My brother was born in 85.
Yeah, I'm 84.
84. Okay.
God, man, that makes me feel old. Old, man. I'm 73.
Well, there you go. That's not that old.
Yeah, I know.
You were 7 when I was born.
You don't look any older than 22. I know that. Yeah.
I didn't say that, Bobby.
I'm going to be back.
Not John Oliver. All right. Yeah, not John Oliver. No. What the heck was that?
What the?
Oh, you're a little noisemaker. Sound like a police siren there for a second. I was like, what the heck? I'm guessing that the We Are Tottenham boys jumped off because the views just immediately jumped up like
No,
25.
they're still on, I think.
Are they still on?
Yeah, they're still on.
It just jumped like 20 views, 20 people in like a second. Thank you for coming.
But I jumped on. So,
that is true.
You know, automatically you're gonna get like the Cody Mac bump. You know.
What are your fault if the guys here I'm watching that are fans of my shows are Williams Rangers? You got to pick a military unit for your folks.
I'll think on that. I'll come up with something good.
Cody's Crusaders. Yeah. What's the horse one called? Cody's Cavalry. That's not bad.
Leave that with me. We'll put that on the back burner for now.
Yeah, that'll be your thing. What about Danny? Danny's Dungarees? Or are those jeans? Isn't there's one that starts with a D though? The Dungarees, is that an old British unit?
It'd be the Bun Battalion.
Yeah, I like that one. The Bun Battalion. That's a good one.
That's not bad actually. Bun Battalion.
I thought if I was going to be a Cody double, I might as well just go the whole hog. Be Cody Jet.
Is that a Pokemon hat?
Cool, no.
That's Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol. I couldn't see it small.
Call me Cody Jet. I'm the Indian version of Cody.
Wayne Bonner's got a good one there. Cody's Commandos, and none of us are allowed to wear underwear.
David is asking me.
You're going to be Bobadom.
Bobadom, that's it, yeah.
What's my favorite Korean food? Have you guys ever had Korean food? Have you guys ever had Korean food?
Yeah, I have. I like Korean food.
I probably had it and not known it's Korean food, if I'm honest. Is it more sushi, is it? Or
no.
What's
I mean, they do have what they call hue, which is just raw. It's raw fish, but it's not like sushi where it's on a rice.
Okay.
It's just pieces of fish that's raw that you eat. It's actually pretty good.
Okay. No.
Have you ever had like a little barbecue on a grill? Like a marinated meat barbecue on a grill right in front of you? A little small circular pan, looks like a hubcap from the 80s.
That's like their famous kind of thing in the restaurants over here anyway. That's what, if you go to a good Korean restaurant, that's what they like to serve.
They cook it live. They make it in front of you, don't you? You pick the ingredients.
You can cook it yourself.
You cook it yourself, yeah.
You cook it yourself,
right, okay.
yeah.
They bring out the marinated beef and pork and stuff like that.
Yeah. Then I have.
Yeah, it's like that.
That's Korean barbecue. That's probably the most common.
Yeah, that's it.
David,
I've definitely had it.
My favorite is nakji bokum, which is it's a fried octopus.
Oh, that sounds
like
good.
Spicy fried octopus with vegetables and rice, and you can make it in a fried rice. So it's a real, like, it's almost red, pepper pasted.
What?
Octopus stir fry.
What's it called again, Will?
Nakji. So nakji is octopus.
Yeah.
Would you use gochujang for that?
Yep, you'd use gochujang for that. It's pepper paste.
Yeah, I've got a big bag of gochugaru that I want to make into some gochujang.
Different types of gochus that probably won't turn out very
well. Well, already with me making it, it probably won't turn out that well. So,
yeah. So one is a paste, and those powders are, I guess you could say, flakes, and so you probably have to grind it up significantly more and add. The paste has a little bit of, I guess you could say, a gelatin type, holding substance. That's how they make it. Look
pretty amazing to be
oiled out. Yeah. Stir fried octopus on rice, and then like a cheok topap or something like that too, which is a spicy pork. It's kind of like nakji bokum, but it's with pork instead of octopus. But the sauce is a little bit different too. But those two are probably my favorite.
Is American food as fatty as we all think it is in the UK? Is it?
With American food, I guess you could say, no, not anymore. Especially now, everything's like.
Isn't it different state in different states? It's different. All the food is different.
It's family by family, right? So you've got a lot of. I guess you could say impoverished. Not really impoverished, because no one in America is like African impoverished, right? Like, but. Or
the lesser.
Yeah, I would say the lower income levels, they end up eating a lot of fast food because it used to be really cheap. It's not that cheap anymore, to be honest with you. But for like lower middle class family like myself, I would say that I probably, growing up, if you want an American style, because obviously my household now isn't American style, but growing up, I would say, pork chop and mashed potatoes and like a pork steak. Not so much fried chicken, more like a chicken breast, like a grilled chicken breast. We do a lot of, like, in my family, being from Missouri, which is kind of the Midwestern area of the United States, we did a lot of barbecue. So it was barbecued pork chops or pork steaks, barbecued steak, grilled steak, barbecue chicken, potato salad, mashed potatoes. So just a lot of potatoes and meats and
a lot of starch, a lot of protein. That sounds of it.
Starch and proteins. Not so much rice. A lot of pasta, probably. But you say really American food is, I guess you could say it's Americanized international foods, because America is really a melting pot of the world. So, and then tomorrow, for people that don't know, just kind of remind people, I am tomorrow at 3 p.m. Bob and Danny's time is when they do the social media blackout for the Premier League folks. I'm going to be doing at 5 p.m. No, 7 p.m. British time, 2 p.m. Our time here in the U.S. a show on racism, xenophobia, and bigotry inside of football, and how that appears to that. So Do you think Sky Sports will actually be able to go 3 days without talking about Harry Kane leaving Tottenham? Or
no,
it's only social media. It's not a TV boycott. it's only social media. So it'll just be they won't be posting it to their Facebook and Instagram pages.
It'll be overload on TV, mate. Trust me. Well, they'll be making up for it
Probably.
somehow.
Newspapers.
They'll be making it up somehow. Yeah. But Sky Sports have joined in. They only announced it this morning.
And I don't think that they consider YouTube a social media platform either, because it's
they don't, do they?
One-sided. No.
Okay.
Probably more YouTube content then. So look out for the weekend, guys.
It'll probably be a big YouTube thing. But for me, instead of blacking out, I think it's bigger to talk. I want to hear people talk about it. I want to hear to hear people from different parts of the world talk about, one, A, their experiences, and then B2, what they feel that we could do it, and then kind of get to the nitty-gritty about it. Because instead of just for me, especially with ones that I think are issues of the heart, right? Because I think that racism is an issue of the heart. I think it's based on hate, a hateful thing. So it's some kind of mess. It's something that's wrong inside your, here or here, right? It's not something that's necessarily as black and white as, the ESL or Enoch out or something like that, right? Those are principled issues, whereas racism can be a principled issue. But I think for a lot of people in their day-to-day lives, and especially as I was kind of looking at the numbers, I'm preparing some numbers for places like that. And I think that one of the reasons why it's I guess you could say Americans are louder about this topic maybe than some other countries are, is because most of the countries around the world are fairly homogeneous. I mean, there's just not the numbers. Like 16, like black people make up about 13% of the U.S. population. There's not another Western country that has 13%, a black population, or it's very difficult to find even 7% of the total population. And we're talking a very large population of the Asian community in any other countries. So I think that maybe the reason why it's not such a big issue is because a lot of those other countries are 90% white, or, it's stuff like that. So because there is because the minorities are so minor, it doesn't get as much impact as it does here, whereas it's the same reason like 20, 25 years ago in the United States, it wasn't that big of a, even though the Civil Rights Act had passed and all that stuff, it just wasn't as big because the white population in America then was, 80+% upwards. Whereas now it's becoming a lot more of a mixed, culture. And I was really shocked to see that like even like Portugal is pretty much Mediterranean, and there's only maybe like 100,000 black people that live in the entire country that are officially citizens of that country there. So I mean, it was just kind of looking at the numbers. It was pretty shocking to see how homogeneous a lot of the countries are. And so when you kind of football, it kind of forces the whole world into one room. And so you're faced seeing people that you may not see in your day-to-day life. And that could be a deal that can come down to, that I think is helped more by educating each other and meeting people and talking to people about it from a face-to-face look than
it's easier now as well, isn't it? Well, it's easier to talk about. BLM obviously has had an influence on a lot of things, but I think everyone in a way, it's unconsciously, subconsciously, has been part of a third party racism. Not saying something when it should have been said, and myself, I can speak from my experience, maybe accepting a few things in the earlier times of my life, thinking, just laugh it off. Whereas times have changed, and if certain things were said today, then there'd be a massive uproar. But there'd be a lot more backing as well. There'd be a lot more a place to turn to for support and for guidance and for direction. So times have changed, and I suppose we're in a lucky part of generation where it is easy to speak about homosexuality, racism, topics. So but it does make you think in certain times, as going back, could I have done more? And I think that's been a common thought since the whole BLM brought to the forefront. There are times in life where you haven't done as much as you could have, because it's seen as being accepted, and I've certainly been part and parcel of that. I've certainly been on the other end as well. So yeah, it'll be an interesting show tomorrow, mate. Really, really interesting.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And for the folks that are watching, the show will start out tomorrow. I think I have 4 or 5 guests. So the first hour will be kind of just talking for the guys on the panel. And then we'll open it up like I normally do for a THF rant show. And I'll throw the link out there and we'll let people come on and tell their individual stories. So Eugene or anybody else who's a regular watcher of the show, how that system works, and that'll be thrown up there. So I think Bobby's going to be there. I think Tommy's going to be there. Sam's going to be on for a little bit, and then anybody else of the other creators, I'd have to go back and look to see who exactly is doing that. But I forgot. I don't have my list in front of me. But
Brian Daigle's bound to be there, isn't he?
Yeah, Brian Daigle will be on that.
Yeah, cool.
Stuff like that. So we will definitely be doing that for sure. And Craig Silver says, "Get back to the football." He does it. I guess he doesn't like to listen to talk about anything other than football. Sorry to disappoint you, but yeah, these conversations take a life of their own. And I think people, look, are you really watching this channel to hear my opinion on Spurs? I mean, to be honest, it has to do with the personalities, and the personalities that are here. At least I think it does. I mean, why would you want to listen to some bald and bearded American guy go on and on about Tottenham Hotspur? Or, Cody Mac going on about, baby sharks and stuff like that. So,
it's what the people want to see, Will.
Yeah, that's what they want, mate. You need to listen to the people.
But I mean, Tottenham is definitely the topic. But I think the thing that makes the show entertaining for me, like for instance, why do I watch David's show before, or why do I? Yes, it's because it's Tottenham oriented, but it's also too because I like his personality, right? Like. Should I do this? Should I go out there? Should I be brave? Chris Callan, I like his content. If I want to see news, right, breaking releases, I go and watch his shows.
Yeah.
I can't say that I watch his long form content very often, because personally, my personal opinion is that sometimes it's a little dry for my likes. Okay, I like Chris's channel, and like I said, if I'm looking for news, for facts, right? He's one of the first channels that I go to. But there's not, for me, his personality is a bit dry, right? That kind of classic British dry personality. I guess maybe that's an American stereotype. But
he just looks too much like Poch for me. I look at him and I'm just like,
I always say that, yeah.
But no,
everyone says that. Yeah. Everyone says that.
He does look like Poch, but his content is good for that style, like for breaking news.
That's
like
it.
if I wanted a news source,
you're not gonna bust a gut watching Chris Callan.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not laughing. Like you don't have Daniel Levy's not making appearances, and man, why is my mouse? Sorry, I changed my monitor setup today.
Don't talk to me. Chris Callan is not doing this on his channel.
Oh man, go away again. Can I take this completely off subject? Well, it'd probably be the smallest response ever. But have you guys? I mean, I thought I'd finish the stream at 2:30 and I'll go to sleep. But I need to take some medication. I need to give it half an hour before I go to sleep. A lot more. Don't know why I had to share that, but the reason was I put on Netflix and I started watching Don't Fuck with Cats. Has anyone else seen
yeah,
that?
I've seen that. Yeah.
Mate, what
Yeah.
the?
Yeah.
What?
It's a pretty fucked up.
What's the cat?
No, it's like about this guy. It's about this guy who starts doing these YouTube videos, and then each video slowly, progressively gets worse and worse, and it looks like he's doing more like torture kind of stuff to certain things. And he starts like torturing animals, and then eventually it's like a video of him looking like torturing a person, and then eventually it turns into he actually kills someone, and then it turns into like a manhunt all over Canada.
Canada, America, Berlin.
Yeah, he was going all around the world, basically.
His first YouTube video was him killing a cat by suffocating him.
Yeah.
His second one was killing a cat by getting a snake. I mean, fortunately, I've got a cat, so I'll find
this is really getting into the weeds now.
But it's one of those things that you don't want to watch, but
it's very interesting.
You don't want to watch it. You can't watch it, but you have to. They don't show any of the killings, fortunately, but they do describe it in big detail, and it's mate, it's how do I say it's horrific.
Brian Ireland says they're from Montreal.
That's it, Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh,
yeah. I mean, like, you get like the what's that? What are those dudes?
Fantastically. Yeah.
What are those two brothers, dudes? The guys in California. Jake. What's his name?
I'm not sure, mate.
Like boxer YouTubers, they have millions and millions of subscribers. They box now.
You're talking about the UK one, what KSI and the other guy?
Yeah,
John
KSI.
Logan.
Yeah, Logan brothers.
Logan brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys. Stuff like that to me is not entertaining. I use YouTube for two separate things. It's usually educational and entertainment. So I have people that I watch for education. Logan Paul. That's right. It's the Paul brothers. Thank you, Philip.
Cool, right.
Like I said, I'm a Zenio. I'm not into that. Into the Paul brothers. Jake and Logan Paul. I'm not. Yeah. I watch product reviews. This camera, that camera, this thing, that thing. Whatever I'm buying. I'm a little bit of a tech junkie too. So whatever I'm buying, on that, or how to do this or how to do that, how-to videos, educating myself on how to be successful in this or my real job or other things like that. Football and like Brian Ireland gear. You wouldn't even believe how many episodes of Podcastinger. I can't remember the name of the channel, but he does all these microphone reviews. I just watch hundreds and hundreds of views on microphones. Just never gonna buy them. I just want to know what that microphone sounds like. I'm a little bit weird like that.
Some sort of weird fetish to me, Will, if you're asking me, mate.
Yeah. But that's why my voice sounds so good, and that's why I can do
fun things like this.
That's the man smell.
It's because that I've
in yours and Cody's eyes. I don't know if Danny's interested in this, but imagine yourself in England. You're waking up for a match day. In your mind, how is that day going? What are you expecting? You're in the UK. You're getting ready for a Spurs game. You've woken up in the morning. Kickoff's at 3:00. How are you envisaging everything?
Like I'm going to the game.
Yeah, you're going to the game live.
Well, I guess a lot of that depends where I live and how I'm getting there. But
yeah, okay, you live 10 minutes away from the stadium.
10 minutes away.
Yeah, you can walk it. I just want to. What are you expecting when you go to your first Spurs game? What kind of atmosphere? What are you expecting in the stadium when you get there, and everything? How are you expecting it all?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about going to my first match, I'd start out by getting well hydrated and well fed so that I can be prepared for the inevitable alcohol consumption that's going to take place. I'd probably
Are you eating there or are you eating at home?
Oh, I do a little bit of both, I think.
Yeah, okay. So that's what Daddy has about 50 quid for a person to eat at the stadium. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, believe me, Canada. Will probably can't relate to that quite as much, but in Canada, like we have one major sports franchise in each province, basically. So like, whereas, just in London alone, you have more competitive football clubs than we have hockey teams that are at the highest level. We've got 7 major hockey teams in Canada. and that's what we're kind of known for. So, no, if you go to a game and it's going to be like a one-off, yeah, you're spending probably $300 right? But if I was going to my first Spurs game, man, I'd be there. I'd be probably the first one there. I'd want to get the whole stadium tour. I know for sure. I'd probably be shocked at how few people show up right up until game time. It just magically will just kind of fill with the snap of the fingers.
10 to 3.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I'm in England for a Spurs game, there's no budget. I got the credit card and I don't care what I'm spending. And it's
dude, different than me, man. I stadium tour and all that stuff. Dude, because I would be getting over there. Like, people may look behind me and think that I make a lot of money. I don't make a lot of money. I do okay for myself, but I don't make a lot of money. I don't know if I could, because just getting over there costs so dang much. The hotel and the flight alone would be like $5,000. So I can't see myself spending just like, I haven't been on, as an entrepreneur. I don't think I've been on vacation in probably 6 years.
Crazy, man.
I haven't been on a family vacation.
Is that on your bucket list though, Will? Surely, mate.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, with the revenue that this channel may have someday, probably the first thing I'll do with that is put it into a trip.
Tottenham kitty.
Yeah. Put it back into the channel that way.
That'd be wicked, content. Dan, wouldn't it? Yeah, that'd be wicked, Dan, wouldn't it? Get these guys down. Get all of us down.
Sure, man.
Go buy shirts and join the Patreon if you want to send me to London to watch a match and meet up with the likes of David and Bobby and everybody else. So.
It'd be amazing.
See if we get a box out for the day. All probably taken. A box out. Oh, mate, it'd be wicked.
And subscribe to that channel. Share the channel out with your mates.
Yeah.
I've also got these things. I don't know if you can see that. These are small. These are small, like test tube sized plastic flasks, so that when you go into a stadium, like, you wear them in your cargo pants, and you just got your little shot of vodka in there. I definitely buy a beer while I'm there, but I got my own little Levy tricks up my sleeve.
Danny fill that up with Coke. Probably, yeah. I mean,
I don't know if it is cheaper than
cola. Cola.
Oh God!
What's the part of my nose?
But do you know what? Even going to the games is still, even in the UK, it's still expensive.
Yeah.
I've got a season ticket, right? When I go to games, I don't really drink because it's too expensive. Like, to drink every time you go, you spend like what? Because now around the Tottenham Stadium, so around the whole area of Tottenham now, it's all parking permits now, so you can't park there. Yeah. So to drive there, it's impossible to park in the area. You've got to know certain places where you can park. There are a few, but it's a bit of a walk to the stadium basically, which is not bad, but yeah, it's if you're gonna go and drink and stuff like that, it's better to go to the pubs around the area than when you're in the stadium. Sometimes I have the odd one, but it's just so expensive, man. Everything's so expensive.
Well, it costs me and Bob Spur Jr. We live up north. We live about 2.5, 3 hours away from the stadium. Obviously, got fuel, including that. And I was telling Danny, for both of us, it can cost anywhere between 250, 300 quid for just one game.
It's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, so they're like
a 6-year-old asks you for a £14 hot dog, you need to buy him a £14 hot dog.
Yeah, literally, it's like 10, 12 quid for top
or
something
if you want the meal, it's 40.
Yeah, and you gotta remember the exchange rate here too, right? Like, it's like $1.40 for £1 or $1.30 or something like that for a pound. So it's like 8 pounds is like $10. Right.
Yeah. So. Extortion.
That's it. Next time we're going to the park. That's the way. Yeah.
It's even worse for Canadian dollar.
Canadian's even worse. Yeah.
Yeah. $1 £1 sterling is $1.73 Canadian.
Jeez. Oh, that's 2 times crazy. That'd be even worse for you, though, Cody. over here.
That's why I got my plastic tubes, boys.
I think I'd have to get one of them as well.
what if Spurs came on? I think they have done. When Spurs go out on tour around Canada and the US, would you break your neck to get to that game in pre-season? Or
if they came to Charlotte, the only problem is last time Spurs went to California, which for me is about just might as well fly to England. I mean, the price is a little bit lower on the plane ticket because I'm looking now like the round trip ticket that I don't have to spend 20 plus hours on an airplane, and that means like having a 4-hour or 8-hour layover someplace is about $1,700. So $1,700, and then if you because I'm coming from the United States and I'm going, it's not like I can just come for a day.
Yeah.
Right. So I've got to be at least probably 3 nights. Right. I got to travel, sleep the night before the match, sleep the night of the match, and then possibly head home the night before. So at least a 2-night or 3-night stay. So that's another, I'm not 22. I can't just go sleep in some hostel for 50 pounds a night, right? Like I have to sleep in an actual hotel.
Yeah.
Pounds a night, man. What kind of hostel are you staying at? That is expensive for a hostel.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Jeez. That you might not even get your own bed for that price.
Yeah.
So you're talking at least 150 to 160 pounds a night, probably for like a Hilton branded hotel.
You don't need Hilton.
That's all I stay at is Hilton. I'm a Hilton. I'm a Hilton Honors member. I'm a gold member for Hilton. So
man, I'm just gonna take all the throw pillows on Danny Kiriaku's bed and throw them on the floor, and I'll have a nice comfy little nest for myself there.
I can't do that.
No problem, Cody. You're welcome anytime.
His mum and dad are awesome.
You got the exercise bike, all the amenities.
His mum and dad are awesome, so welcoming. Danny wasn't even gonna let me onto his drive, and then Mum came out. It's like, come, get on the top. Oh, Mum, cheers. And Danny was like, she's what? She's invited you in. I'm like, yeah.
I was like, fuck off, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
So it probably cost me a good, $1,000 for the hotel.
At least,
that's $3,000, and then when you're talking food, usually breakfast in the hotel is free, but lunch and dinner and drinks, it's an easy another $2,000. So $5,000 is about what it would cost.
You get an Airbnb, will make your own food, mate. You save so much money.
That's it.
Airbnb is good when you're going with a lot of folks. But for one person, Airbnb, like if it was me, Cody, if there was like 5 or 6 of us from the US that were going over for a trip, Airbnb would be great because then when you split that 5 ways, there's plenty of room. But as one person for an Airbnb, it's tended to be more expensive than a hotel. So
to me, like part of the reason, like I would much rather stay in a hostel and then save money that I can spend on eating out because cuisine is like half the reason that you go somewhere. And I know that like England doesn't really have its own cuisine. It's Indian, really, if we're talking about it. So
everything. Yeah, they've got everything.
You wouldn't want to eat out every single meal, but
especially in London.
Yeah, exactly.
Cosmopolitan.
I would just eat curry every night.
Operation Vindaloo, definitely.
I'll take you all to the best spots, mate.
I would eat curry every night.
Knows where to go. The fat boy knows where to go.
Do it.
Maybe curry and pies. That's all I'd eat.
Hey, they do curry pies. You got both. That's the both worlds.
I don't know about that. That doesn't sound too appetizing for me.
I wouldn't even dare touch one. Has anyone actually come out with their preference manager yet? Or I've said, Danny knows from last night. I'm Ryan Mason in for me. I've got reasons behind it. What did you go with, Dan? I think you came round, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I don't really care. I mean, if it means it doesn't really matter who comes in. It's just the board have got to change their ways, and I've kind of agreed with you, to be honest. Like Mason would be just as good as anyone else if their board is still going to be like the same as how they're going to be, and they're not gonna change or back the manager in the way they should. So it doesn't really matter. So yeah, ideally you'll save money by keeping Mason in. It wouldn't be like my first choice, but like I said, yeah, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I do agree with you in that respect.
Yeah.
For me, what I want to see in the appointment is a plan. I don't want there to be a manager, and that's kind of like I don't see it like a Graham Potter as like a project manager.
No way.
I see Graham Potter as, you know, here's your players.
My argument to that, Code, is if the board decide to have a plan that's going to fit a Graham Potter-esque kind of manager, then I'll be that. It's just right now, the reason why I'm happy with Ryan is because there's no plan, there's no identity up at the board. But
that's
I
what I'm
understand
saying.
what you're saying. Yeah, I know
that's
what you're saying.
The same thing. You know, I just want there to be, okay, I want to be able to tell just by the person that we appoint whether we're going to try and give it one more go with the core group of players that we have and invest as much as we can, or if we're going to be taking on a longer term super project rebuild, Operation Dynamite, you know, like getting rid of the players who are worth money and then investing in speculative young players and bringing our own youth academy players through. I don't really care either way. I think that the rebuild is coming, whether we want to do it now or try one more time with Kane and Son, right? I just don't know if we actually will win trophies with Kane and Son. It's just so hard to picture after Sunday. Like Sunday just goes to show, like we had about as lucky a draw through that Carabao Cup tournament as possible. You know, you couldn't have asked for at every single round. It was like, okay, who do we want? Really, Chelsea were the only team that you could argue, you know, it was difficult. But like Stoke was the weakest team in the quarters. Brentford was the weakest team in the semis. You're gonna have to beat someone good to win a trophy. If you're going to win a trophy without beating someone good, it's probably going to be the Audi Cup or something like that. So it just, for me, it was kind of depressing. The gap in quality was on display. You know, I honestly, I believe you could have swapped managers, and Ryan Mason would have been able to get past Pep's Tottenham Hotspur, no problem. So I just want to establish a direction, because we don't have that.
Yeah, 100%.
Nice to see you again, Maurizio Sarri's agent.
Yes, Maurizio Sarri.
Have you seen Matt Hayes' video yet? Has he released it? I'm happy.
No, not yet, mate. He's editing it now. He's editing it now.
I'm happy with my little segment. I'm extremely happy with my little segment. But it should be fun. I can't wait for that when it's released. But can I just say,
what is it with you and Sarri, mate? What's going on there?
I know.
He's his agent. He's the agent. He's Sarri's agent.
You'll see, man. You'll see.
Yeah,
it was difficult to get it in. It was difficult to get in the second segment. But I think I covered all the bases. And can I just say, Will, £50 a night for a hostel? Where are you staying, man? Seriously, you must be Beverly Hills. You must be living in Beverly Hills, surely.
Are you seriously? You can find hotels for cheaper than $50 or £50 a night.
And you can find it. I've stayed near Wembley for £3, and it was right.
You can't get a Motel 6 nowadays in America for less than $50 a night.
Yeah, but a Motel 6, like some of these hostels, you're sleeping like 6 beds in one room or more. You know, like you want to pay.
You have dorms, like 12 bed dorms and stuff. You have like 12 bed dorms and things like that.
I mean, there are like
bathroom between 20 people. Yeah,
there are roadside motels that I wouldn't even step foot in, much less sleep in, and they cost more than $50 a night here in the United States.
You'll get man smell. You'll get some man smells in them.
You'll definitely get some man
smells. 12 males in the same room.
I thought you said 12 moles.
Probably moles as well. Yeah.
I was thinking, do they do mixed sex? They do mixed sex, don't they?
Yeah.
I think they do. Yeah.
I had my bachelor party in Toronto, and what we did was there's an annual like carnival called the CNE, the Canadian National Exhibition. So just a big fair, and it happens kind of sandwiched between the baseball stadium and the football stadium. So what we did was me and like 8 of my best mates, we went and we saw a baseball game, and then we went to the exhibition, and then we went and saw a Toronto FC game. But to keep the costs down, because you know not all of us are able to drop $50 on a hostel. That's what we ended up doing, was we stayed at a hostel in Toronto, like the 8 of us, but there was like 11 beds in the room. So it was like these 3 random people and the rest of my bachelor party. And yes, I can tell you there's definitely some man smell that was happening the next morning after that.
Yeah, so like, and for me, I don't. Is that expensive? Like somebody said, like Hilton, like that's like super high class. What I mean by Hilton is, I mean Hilton branded. So DoubleTrees, Hampton Inns.
Fairly expensive.
I mean, it's like £100 for an Hampton Inn,
I was gonna say,
£101 a night.
You can one out for about 100 quid.
Like
the Hilton brand hotel, definitely.
DoubleTree by Hilton Hotel London Victory is like £130 a night. Yeah.
Outskirts of London, you can get Hilton for like £60 Bromley.
Yeah.
Bromley,
I mean, even like the London Hilton on Park Lane, that's like £339. That's an expensive one, but that's a big giant tower, though, right? Yeah. Like the DoubleTrees. I like DoubleTrees. DoubleTrees tend to be a quality room at a reasonable price.
I think Danny only charges what, 25 quid.
Yeah,
and he'll give you a room as well.
But you gotta fluff the pillows when you leave.
Free food.
So Tommy, let's assume that Maurizio Sarri is going to Roma, like what's being rumored.
Yeah.
Who would be your next choice after him?
Sarri, I've done a little segment on it last night. I'm sold by Ten Hag. I think I'm starting to get sold by Ten Hag. If you asked me a month ago, it would have been a different answer. But I don't think there's anyone in Britain. I honestly don't think there's a British-based manager. So you'd have to look elsewhere. And I think you have to go Ten Hag because what he's done with the youth academy, and not just the youth academy, but I mean Champions League finals with Ajax. It's insane. And he's used to the vicious circle of selling players, producing new players. I think that could come in handy with the youth academy we've got coming through now. We've got some really, really hot under-23s coming through. So I think Ten Hag will be my man.
How much?
Outside Sarri, he hasn't signed yet. Sarri hasn't signed his contract yet. So
how much do you guys think the fact that we've sacked one of the great managers of the 21st century, how much do you think that fact is working against us? Do you think that there's managers who we're being linked to who are considering the job that are calling up Jose? Like, is there a community of managers where it's like, hey, man, what's it really like working with Levy? Tell me the truth, you know? Like, do you think that's a factor in why some of these top managers won't consider us as a destination, aside from the fact that we're on an obvious mess?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, mate. You know, in the day of social media and the managers do there is a line of communication, but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. But with regards to Spurs, it doesn't take. I don't think you need to speak to anyone to see what kind of mess we're in and what kind of performance, how the board perform. And you know, I said this yesterday. All due respect, we're bigger than Leicester. But we're at a point where we can totally understand why Brendan Rodgers turned us down. You know, it's a sad state of affairs, and the board's reputation and how they work, evidently, is obviously going to be a turn off for many managers. So, like I keep on saying, we can say every manager in Europe at the moment till we get the board sorted out, it's irrelevant, absolutely irrelevant, and I don't want anyone in. Right now, I don't want anyone in until we get the board sorted.
I am on that fence.
Ryan Mason in.
I am on that fence, even though I think ideally I would like Ten Hag. I just don't think there's part of me that believes that Ten Hag is going to fail like the rest of them have, because at some point, but it's not just that. At some point, what's going to happen is they down the line, we're going to need to like get to the point where we need a couple players in, and then Levy's not going to do what he's done to the rest of the managers that have been sacked. He's not going to back him fully, and then he's going to end up doing really badly coming into the season, and then he's going to get sacked, and it's going to be the same story once again. And that's the sad reality. What I believe will happen if they don't change their ways, and that's why I'm on the fence with you might as well just keep Mason in the job. Yeah,
is that really where we are? I heard a little bit last night.
Honestly,
my stream. Keep Mason. No. Is that?
Do you know what? Do you know what, Tommy, man? Honestly, because if you look, this is my opinion, right? So my opinion is the fact that we had probably one of the best managers in our history in the recent times, right? From Bill Nick, right, in Pochettino, for what he did for the club. Now, what he did and give the fans, he built a unity within the fan base and the team. He gave the fans and the team belief. Now, and getting us a Champions League final. Yeah, he gave us identities, a philosophy. Everyone knew the direction he wanted to go. Even the fans knew what he wanted to do when he was talking about rebuilding, right? The fans knew who they were, the players in the squad he wanted out. We all knew it, right? But if Daniel Levy didn't back that man, why is he going to back anyone else when this guy changed our team and took us to a new level? Why is Daniel Levy going to back anyone? And I cannot see it. I can't see it. I really, really can't.
Let me ask you this.
Let me
ask you this, Danny. Okay, and by all means, anyone on the panel, feel free to answer this. Is there anything that Daniel Levy and ENIC can do to regain your trust as a Tottenham Hotspur supporter?
Yeah, there is. They invest in the team. It's as simple as that. They stop investing. Like we saw not long ago, the reports about them buying up a golf course, some golf course next to the training ground because they want to build an NFL training complex. I mean, come on, man.
Much?
I mean,
how much?
Like
let's say this summer transfer window. How much would it take for you to say, okay, I'm back on board?
Right. Depends who we sell as well, isn't it?
That's going to be
a huge one.
Let's say net spend then. Net spend.
They need about 50 to 100 million plus the players that they're going to sell.
Yeah, 100 million plus.
And that's one of the biggest things. The market value of the players they're going to sell.
That's the biggest problem, right? But even if you sell, right, say 10 players, right, for less than what they actually were, you can still get 100 million plus. Even if you sell those players like Winks, say you sell him for 10, 15 million pounds, people will buy Winks for that money. I'm telling you, there are clubs in England that will buy Winks. Even Dyer, you sell Dyer for 10 to 15 million pounds, right? Get him out the club. Aurier, 5 million, whatever it is they want to get for him, 6, 7 million.
Really?
Get him out. Lamella,
5 million. You think Dyer's
got 1 year left on his contract?
6? Oh, is that
1 year left on his contract?
Though, Tom.
He's got 1 year left on his contract.
To leave free at the end of next season. Yeah. So
Lamella,
we have to increase the wage budget. The wage budget is essential that we improve the wage budget.
Do you know what? It's not even the wage budget, Tommy. It's just for me, my opinion anyway. I just think they need to get those players out, right? And Daniel Levy needs to stop trying to maximize as much money as he can from these players, because he's going to leave himself in a bad situation again in the summer if he doesn't get rid of those players and actually gets his head out of his own arse, right? And actually sells the players for what they're actually worth, not what he thinks they're worth. And if he does that, right, then he's got some money to play with to bring in some new blood, which is what we need. And I would say with that money that we could make from these deadwood players, I reckon another 50 million or a little bit more on top of that, that would be enough investment in the team. But the key thing here, Cody, is it's not quantity, it's quality. It's quality. I would rather have 2 or 3 fantastic players than 7 new hopefuls. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
One of the biggest things is the homegrown issue. One of the biggest things is the homegrown issue. If we sell Ben Davis, like you've just mentioned, Winks, Dyer, who's the other chap? Bale's going back, and he counts as homegrown. He's going to be going back. That's
Dyer doesn't.
Oh no, Dyer doesn't, because the Portugal thing. He started.
Davis.
Davis does.
Yeah,
Davis does.
No, he doesn't.
Davis
he was
does.
trained in.
Sure?
He was trained in Wales. In
no,
Wales.
But Swansea count as a Premier League club.
They don't. It's Welsh FA. No, it's
sure?
not. Yeah, 100%.
I thought he certainly counted. I know.
Europa. I think Europa is different.
Danny, just a follow-up question. Follow-up question.
Yeah, Europa is different.
How much money would Levy and ENIC have to invest in the club for Brian Daigle to trust them again?
Oh, mate.
No.
Right. Do you know what? I think
never.
Never. I think never.
You're not turning him.
You know what, right? Do you know what, right? I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to be honest with you, yeah? If they started invested like 150, 200 million pound a year, and they started buying like the best of the best quality players, if they could get to that point, I think then you'd see him change. But until that happens, because it's never going to happen, that's why he'll say never. That's how I think Brian will see. Because let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. If we went and got Skriniar and say Grealish and players like that before, right? Do you think everyone be sitting here saying the same thing about Daniel Levy if he actually went and got those players? They wouldn't. 1,000,000% they wouldn't.
Yeah,
we wouldn't even be in this position.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's an acceptance. Whereas in an ideal world, ENIC would sell up and we get new owners in who are football people and invest everything into the football team and make and have a vision of making us best team in the world. I think the acceptance has slowly come round the fans that ENIC aren't going anywhere. It's very unlikely they're going to go anywhere. It's near on impossible this summer they're going to go anywhere. So we're stuck with ENIC. All we're asking for is a bit more communication for them to change, have a clear vision. Never mind change their vision, but have a clear vision on what they want to do. Have a plan in place. And like then Danny says, and choose a manager. And like you said, choose a manager that's going to be suited to that plan. Like I say, if the plan is to work with youth, have no money, work with these average players for another season, then Jose was the wrong person, completely the wrong person.
Yeah,
and in my eyes,
agree.
in my and in my eyes, the likes of Ten Hag, yes, he works with youth, but he will need his own players in, preferably Ajax players in. And if he's going to come in and not be in a position where he can do that, then I don't want him in. I don't want him in.
And the managers and the players from Eredivisie. Whoa. The managers and players from Eredivisie. What is this? I thought you just had sound effects. I wasn't sure you had visuals and sound effects. The subscribers are growing, man. The views are growing. We can see it.
Cost me €1 billion.
I watched that. I watched The Spy That Shagged Me 2 days ago, so that's
but yeah, there's no point in getting anyone in. Ryan Mason in. Ryan Mason.
What do you think of that? Your own question, Cody? What's your opinion on your own question? I want to hear what you.
No, you know what? For me, the mask has slipped. Any kind of token investment, like you said, if 3 years from now, I'm on the Brian Daigle level. If 3 years from now, there's been £500 million invested in this squad and we are seeing actual results on the pitch, that's what, for me, that's what I could forgive them, is if we if we win the Premier League or if we win Champions League. That really is it for me. And the only way we do that is through the type of investment that you talked about. But for me, no, unless that happens, which, I mean, if we had to put a percentage on the likelihood of that happening, it would be less than 1%. Right, probably less than 0.5%.
It'd be minus.
It's not going to happen. So no. For me, I sat and defended this board and this ownership, and looked at the things that they had done for Tottenham. Looked at where we had come from when they purchased us for 23 million in 2001 to being worth over 2 billion now. A lot of that being debt, but the fact that they just tried to steal the club from the fans, I can never forgive that. I will never forgive that. So that's where personally, I think the club is haunted. We are haunted by the ghost of Bill Nick. Yep. Did you know that Bill Nicholson's ashes were spread at White Hart Lane? And Daniel Levy dynamited Bill Nicholson's ashes when he went to build that stadium. Can you tell me one good thing that's happened to this club since we built that stadium?
I could do a Darth Maul version of Daniel Levy.
Danny, I was going to ask you something about your season ticket. I got offered it a few times, but I was going to say away games. What'd you do with the away games? What'd you do about
go anyway, guys? I'm being proper YouTube slapper, but I've got a show in about half an hour. I need to get something to eat. So fantastic.
That's why we're only going on here for another 15.
Take it easy.
Yeah, that's fine, mate.
We're gonna have a Vindaloo there,
Come on, Ryan.
Operation Vindaloo.
Yeah, Tommy.
I don't have. Is that how it works?
No, because I don't have enough points. You need points to for away games. So you apply for it, but because I've got like 200 points, you need normally like, I don't know, 400 or so more, I reckon, or at least 350 or more to be even have a chance of going to an away game.
Right.
So it'll take me another probably 3 or 4 years of adding points before I can actually have a chance to go to an away game. That's how bad it is.
Oh yeah, one of my best mates told me. Well, he goes to away games, so he must have the points. He never told me about.
So he probably would have had a season ticket a lot longer. He would have had a season ticket.
Oh man, I want to go away. I want to go Newcastle.
I've been trying to go away ever since I had a season ticket, but it's impossible.
Oh man!
Unless you go to a third-party vendor and try and find a ticket, but then you end up paying 3 times as much for the ticket.
Listen to this. So, Will, you know, I'm reading that book about the biography of Tottenham Hotspur.
Yep.
So, I'm through into the late 1930s now. So it's talking about a manager that came here from Crystal Palace. Okay, so later on, Tresidern, member number 7 of the Spurs ex-managers club, told a journalist that his years at Spurs were his unhappiest in football and that he always kicked himself for giving up a job he enjoyed at Crystal Palace to move there. The players were set in their ways and did not want to take on new ideas, and the directors did not really need me there because they wanted to manage the team themselves. It was clear they were getting ready to sack me, so I saved them the trouble and I resigned. It wasn't, he concluded, a time I like to reflect on. What does that sound like?
And this is the legend of legends, isn't it? This is our ultimate icon. Like, this is our ultimate icon. That's madness. I wasn't aware of that.
It's
you
just,
know what?
it's just every chapter of this biography has aspects of it on which you can see history just repeating itself. It's like we're stuck in a time loop, you know? Like, it's Groundhog Day, but the scenery changes as we go. It's just the same shit just happening over and over to the club. And I swear to God, Levy is a vampire. He's just been in charge the whole time.
No, look, Cody, did you hear what Stell was saying? We were talking about last night on his stream, on one of the streams last night. Like how at the old White Hart Lane Stadium, right? You had like ex-famous players, and some of them had their own lounges, like Pat Jennings had a Pat Jennings lounge, and there was a couple of other lounges as well.
Steve Perryman, you had quite a few.
Steve Perryman lounge, yep. So like they had like famous player lounges, right? Now in the new stadium, they've only got like executive boxes and stuff like that, all for like businesses and companies. It's like they've just completely obliterated all the history that some of these amazing players have done for us in the past and just wiped it under the floor. And like, for example, like they don't even have any statues outside and stuff like that. Like this is how much Daniel Levy cares about money, because he doesn't care about anything else.
It is true. It is true what Stell says too. When you think about fans like Will and I, and fans, international fans who are born, say, 1980 onwards, when we choose to support Tottenham Hotspur, we are not choosing them because of the trophy cabinet, really. Yeah. There's other reasons why outside international fans are drawn to Tottenham Hotspur.
And not because the icons either.
Exactly.
It depends on the icon. I mean, some of the icons, yes. The more prevalent ones.
What
Still the ones that are more well-known here as well.
Basically, the longer we go between having true like success at the trophy level, the more that heritage gets forgotten, and the more our DNA begins to change as a club. So you can see why someone like Stell, like Brian Daigle, who in the infancy of their supporting of Tottenham Hotspur, we were a cup team, and now we're not anymore. So you can see why they find all that stuff more abhorrent than, say, someone like.
It's like he wants a fresh slate. It's like he wants a fresh slate with the international fans, from here on in, since the new stadium's been there. But you can't get rid of over 100 years of history. You know, even the bad times, the 90s were a great. Yes, clear. As you said, I didn't realize there wasn't a single statue. I've only been to like 4 or 5 games since the new stadium.
No statues. But all the ex-player lounges are not there anymore.
That's incredible. It's like we want to start fresh slate. The only thing that matters is what we win from here.
They don't care about the legacy fans. That's like they said. They don't care about it.
I do want to mention that in that biography that I'm reading, it talks about Arsenal before they made the move to Highbury when they were in South London. And it talks about like the early days of when Arsenal were formed. The first pitch that they used to play on had an open sewer running through it. And I just thought that was really funny. Just picturing that is hilarious to me.
Oh, God.
They were initially promoted, weren't they? They were initially promoted and we were relegated just in their formation.
Yeah, there's a story behind that as well. They had someone who was running the club who was a little bit crooked, and from the Tottenham aspect, he greased the wheels with a little bit of money so that we ended up in the second division and they got promoted. And part of that was because they were in such financial ruin from making the move to Highbury that they couldn't survive unless they came into the first division straight away after the war.
Fellas, I don't want to ruin the mood here, but we got about 10 minutes left. I have another show that I'm scheduled to do. in 40 minutes.
I'm gonna go eat some dinner as well, guys. So
I have some things that I have to get done before that show starts. So folks with channels, or folks that will have channels, or folks that are on other channels, let people know where they can find you.
Am I the only one?
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one with an actual channel right now.
With an actual channel right
everyone's.
now,
Well, everybody can go around and promote where they're at, where they go appear. Right. Some people have regular appearance. Like Cody has he has a show. He's a member of a show on this channel. So he has a home, not homeless.
And you have merchandise. I've seen that you've got merchandise for that already. You didn't mess about there. You didn't mess about there, did you? But that's amazing. Like, yeah, you're so.
That's what I do. So I do that for my real job. So for me, it's easy. I just chuck it out there and turn it. I am experimenting with some things that I haven't done before. Like I've never had a Patreon before. The company that I'm using to make the shirts, I picked them because they ship and produce in both the UK and the US. So for those, like for instance, if if Danny wanted to buy a bald and bearded Tottenham Boys shirt, it wouldn't take 3 weeks for it to get to him. Cody,
yeah, I see that.
Cody being in Canada would be it's a little bit longer. It takes 2 weeks, where it takes like a week for me. It's all made to order stuff.
You in Beverly Hills with your £100 hostels, but yeah.
I've never slept in a hostel, like I said, so I don't know how much a hostel costs. In Korea, they have these things called love hotels, which are these little mini motels. So in Korea, people tend to live with their parents until they're in their mid-30s. And so if you have a girlfriend,
love motels, are they the ones with the spinning beds?
They probably do have spinning beds, but it's usually like RGB lighting. The bed may vibrate if you drop a quarter into it. But it's basically just a shower, a bed, a little counter with a computer or TV, and it's like $50 a night or 50,000 won. But they're actually like clean, right? But like to the left of the bed, there's 2 condoms and some other things that are just everything's there for the night on the town, right? But they're clean. They're very clean, and so they're actually, if you're comfortable in doing that. If you're not concerned about what the people in the room next to you are doing, you can't really hear most of the time. If you're not worried about the people in the room next to you are doing, it's totally clean. They're very clean, they're very comfortable, and they're cheap. They're like $50 a night. So you can go to Seoul or you can go wherever in Korea and you could stay for $50 a night. Now granted, there's going to be couples, married couples, cheating couples, coming in and out, men and women of the night coming in and out at different times.
Yeah, that's what. Where's this going, Will? Like literally, where are we going with this?
The goal with this is that you can stay for $50 a night in a clean room, and so that's the closest to a hostel experience that I've been in. Like I haven't slept in a room with 12 strangers that I don't know for $5 a night.
Can be good fun though.
They don't have hostels here in the US. So
and you have to wear your merchandise. I've seen you've got man smell merchandise, so you could do wearing that if you ever do end up doing it.
Here's an idea, Will. Yeah. Man smell aftershave.
See, that I'd have to. So for me, doing that stuff like with the t-shirts and the stuff like that, that's easy. I don't have to purchase any of it in advance. All I had to do is design it, throw it up there. If people want to buy it, that's great. All I get is the little, $5 that I tag onto it after the fact.
You should get some bald and bearded Tottenham Boy brand condoms out there.
Oh my!
Because I know my wife would be into that.
But as we grow, and I can actually purchase it, and I actually have the money to purchase shirts and stuff like that in the first place, then we'll be good to go. But or other things as well. And that's plenty. That's what I do for my regular job, so it's easy for me. It's nothing. No.
Is he frozen?
I think he might be.
Is it me or is it Will? I think it's Will.
Yeah, Will's
must be Will. Okay, well, probably. Why don't you plug your channel before we abandon?
Sorry, I flicked my cable.
Okay, so I'm Spurs TV. I've only recently started hosting live. So please get over to my channel, Spurs Zone TV, Twitter. These boys are all smashing it as well. I heard Danny's going to do his own. I heard you're going to do your own thing soon. So yeah, Spurs Zone TV, get over there, Mr. K. I see that you're everywhere, and you said you wanna jump over there. So yeah, jump over there, Spurs Zone TV. Give me a sub, and I'm going to be hosting a lot more. And I do neutral videos. I'm going to be doing quite a lot of neutral videos, so with like opposing fans and stuff like that. So yeah, please head over there. It's a pleasure being on again, Will. Fantastic, man. I want to come on one of your rant shows as well. I had to stay up for 3 hours last time between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. But it was
you're
fun.
A trooper, man. You're on there. Those are the shows that get wild. This one gets off into the weeds too.
Oh, I love these rant shows.
But those are the ones, and they're getting crazier and crazier. I had to throw up the Levy overlays for you because I don't think you had seen them yet, and so I wanted to kind of freak you out a little bit. Like, oh my god, why is Daniel Levy all of a sudden invading the stream?
Tommy's frozen now. It's his turn.
Daniel Levy out here. Daniel Levy's out. You're back now. It's Daniel Levy's out here freezing everybody up.
That was me that time.
Oh god.
But yeah, and Cody or Danny, tell us about your show.
Yeah, so hopefully start of next season we should have our channel up and running, and we're gonna have like a debate channel, but we're also gonna have a lot of different other kind of content, sorry, and we're going to have a dedicated Spurs show because it's going to be the show is going to be based around the Premier League, and we're also going to do some other leagues as well because of the people who are involved in the channel from different clubs and from different countries as well. So if you like to watch stupid people and people having a go at each other and some deluded fans, then you'll definitely love to come and watch some people being stupid. So yeah. Follow me on. You can follow me on Twitter. Twitter, and that is at Danny Kiriakou, which is somewhere. But yeah, that's it. Look forward to that.
And Cody, where can people find you at?
Well, you can find me on the very famous Will Stewart's THFC Rant channel. We've got our very own show, the Bald and Bearded Tottenham Boys. I don't know why it's so hard to say. I find it easy. And Will and I also have some irons in the fire. We might be doing some additional content at some point in the future on this channel, getting some more regular content out there since the channel appears to be growing at a decent clip. And yeah, other than that, I'll be floating around, whoever wants to hear me talk.
Yeah, no, everybody loves you, Cody. You're everywhere. You're all over the intertubes. That's what I call the YouTubes, the intertubes. But anyway, guys, thanks for coming on. It's been a fun show.
Thank you.
Although I feel bad for the people in the comments. Don't hate me. These Q&A shows are supposed to be answering your questions.
It's flown by, hasn't it? But it's flown by. It's flown by.
I'm telling you, 2 hours doesn't feel like anything.
You should plug that show tomorrow one more time, Will, too.
Oh, yes. Make sure to check out our show 2 p.m. tomorrow. Tommy, are you still available to come on at 7 p.m. your time for the racism, bigotry, and
yeah, I've got a
xenophobia
interest in that. Yeah, I've got a few interests in that. So yeah, I'm just going to do a recorded. I'm going to do a recorded manager show tomorrow. So I'm not going to do anything live. So yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah. I'll be throwing the link to that in the Spurs family thing. So guys, make sure you check that out. It'll be 2 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. UK time. 4 hours after the blackout starts on the social media for the EPL guys. So make sure to check that out. Like and subscribe to this channel if you're here watching for the first time. I see new names in the chat. So if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button. It's free. If you love the channel, if you are a super fan, if you want to become a part of Williams Rangers, the Patreon and the shop link are in the description. Check those out if you guys want to. Do not feel obligated to do so. That's there for those who just want to help support the channel financially and help get my bald and bearded ass to the UK at some point in time.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching and joining. We're going to roll that intro. Cody said it sounded like he had something that he wanted to say.
Just looked like Brian Ireland wanted Tommy just to plug the mental health show.
I just wanted to intersect there. So yeah, Tuesday, May the 4th. So it's yeah, we know about that. I think yeah, it's true. I don't know about the time difference. That's the problem. I don't know about the time difference, but I'll certainly be a part of that. I mean, I had a seizure a couple of weeks ago, so it's sort of connected there. That was live. I had a seizure, so it was quite crazy.
We were all there rooting for you, man.
Yeah, man. Quite a few people have, you know, had depression, and not just the guests. These are the streamers alone. So it's a big show. It's going to be a big show. We've got Kenny K there. Kenny K. We've got professionals that are not necessarily sport fans that are going to be involved in that show in Tottenham away. So
That's
definitely stay tuned for that. Yeah, it's going to be advertised on Tottenham away. I'm not exactly sure of the time. As I said, the time difference is a little bit
right
sketchy.
there below you.
I'm going to be part of it. There's going to be a lot of people part of it, and it might be a regular thing as well. It might be like once a month. So certainly tune in. I know so many people go through mental health, especially with this COVID situation. So yeah, certainly tune in for that. It'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, make sure you guys check out that too. Also too, for all of us in the Spurs family, Tommy, I need to come on your channel so we can get you. Have I been on your channel? I don't think I've been. You've been on mine twice.
I've never been on We Are Tottenham.
Come on yours.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't been on We Are Tottenham. I haven't been on We Are Tottenham either. I've had the opportunities, but I've never actually done it. So I've got to do that. Yeah, I've got to do that as well.
Yeah, but get me on your channel so I can throw your channel in the bottom of my channel page. If you notice, at the bottom of my channel page is all the places that I've been. I'm going on in 30 minutes. I will be on Premier Hotspur TV for the first time. Simon over there, Premier Hotspur TV. Yeah, we'll be talking more about the manager situation. So for everybody that's there in the chat, head on over to Simon's channel, Premier Hotspur TV. We'll be on there starting at 8 p.m. in the UK time. I got to run. I have some thumbnails to make that I promised people that I may already be in trouble for not having provided yet. People don't know I'm a graphic designer, so I have been doing thumbnails for people in the fam. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe button. We'll see you tomorrow for our show on that. We will also be going live for the rant shows, pre and post match. So that would be Saturday night and Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys tune into those. Those are the ones that get really fun and hairy. But not up here. And we will see you guys next time.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go now.